RV and smoke Dixon. I'm spitting fast. Now let's hit some heated topics. Just in time for group chat.
Smoke, our group chat is always crazy every week, and we've decided to let the guys that are watching the show in on our unfiltered group chat so they can see the trending topics that we discuss and let you know what's really going on in the world of college football. And the first topic we will get into: 5 programs with a lot to prove. Now, this is a good one, Smoke. The 2024 season starts August 24th, week 0, nearly 3 months away. But we can get into our top 5. Some of them I agree with you on, some of them we don't. This is the purpose of the group chat. Who do you want to lead off with?
Coach, so I'm going to jump off the top rope with the team that went out there and cashed in the NIL market and got the best players. I'm going to start off with Ohio State, Buckeye Land. All right? Now, hear me out now, Carl. This is the year that Coach Ryan Day needs to turn this into Coach Ryan Knight. He needs to make it a nightmare for people coming up in Columbus and wanting to compete. You can't lose to your rival, and your rival ends up winning the national championship and not get put on the hot seat. But he's taking steps to correct that. He got away from the play calling and got Chip Kelly in there. Chip Kelly, one of his boys from a long time ago, they ran numbers up and won a lot of games together. Then he went out and got Will Howard, one of the better quarterbacks out there, to come in and facilitate and run that offense the way that Chip Kelly wants to. Went out and got a running back. Got it right. Now they can run the ball with 2 good running backs and get it done. Coach, this is a loaded roster. Offensive line, NFL players. Receivers, NFL players. Tight ends, you know what's going to happen. We already touched on the running back. They got 2 back there that are NFL Sunday players. And on defense, they got guys that can get after the quarterback. And we said it already on the show, Unfiltered, that this might be one of the better secondaries that I've evaluated. And they have 5 to 6 guys that will play in the NFL. Now, when that comes up, you have a lot to prove. And your seed is very hot. I'm talking about it scorching. Time for them to defeat that team that they always play against at the last game of the season and get into the conference championship and also get into the national championship conversation. This is win or get off the pot this year. What you got?
Now, Smoke, we not that flag on the play yet, but I almost threw one on you right here. All right. Ryan Day, 11-1 a year ago, 11-1 the year before that. Not on the hot seat to be fired. Does have to beat Michigan for them to reach their goals. Ohio State expects to compete for the national championship, Smoke, year in and year out. So what you said to me is just business as usual for the Ohio State Buckeyes. They have got to get over the hump of beating Michigan. But after that, that's it, Smoke. Loaded team. I expect for Ohio State to run through the Big Ten this year, though.
Now, speaking on Big Ten, Carl, you got the next one up. What you got?
I got Penn State. Penn State will start the season ranked number 12 in the country. 10-3 record last year, 7-2 in the conference. But Smoke, it's not about the 7. It's about the 2. Penn State has to figure out a way to win the big games. And you know the big games against Michigan and against Ohio State. Those are the teams that they've had trouble getting over the hump with. But we have 2 new coordinators. Penn State has a really good defense. Drew Aller is coming back at quarterback. I like Penn State's chances. But for them to take the next step this year, they're going to have to prove that they can win those big games. The schedule, they're going to have to see Ohio State. They're going to have to see some of those big-time programs on the schedule. Got to win the games that you're not supposed to win. They're not losing to the teams that they can't, that shouldn't be competing with them. They're having trouble getting over the hump of those 2 giants that are in the Big Ten with them. And this is the year that they have to show that they can do that.
Now, you want to throw a flag on me. Okay, I'm not going to be petty and throw a flag back at you. But you just said what I said, but just move the team and move that goalpost again. You said that 2 is what matters. That got to be Ohio State and Michigan. All I said was the same thing on the other one. But again, you're moving the goalpost. You're picking up your flag. You're not throwing the yellow flag. You're throwing the red flag because you want to challenge me. But I'm going to keep on moving. I'm going to go to the ACC, and I'm going to go down to the 305 bottom of the map with the third team, Miami with Mario Cristobal. Now, Coach, they went 7-6, 3-5 in the conference. Unacceptable. You talk about hot seat, getting paid. He's one of the higher paid coaches in the NCAA. Coach, he lost 2 games just off of just managing the game. Head coaches have to manage the most important part. That's the last 2 minutes of the first half, and also in the fourth quarter. He did a horrible job of that. But Coach, he went out there and got one of the best quarterbacks in Cameron Ward. Now, Cameron Ward's been lighting it up, and he's going to give them an opportunity now to truly compete and win games. You have a quarterback. You got an edge rush in Bain. You got running backs. You got 2 of them. Then Damon Martinez transferred come down there to play ball, so you can run the ball, control the game. You have a quarterback. You got X out there playing receiver. You got my man KB down there coaching up the wide out to have explosive plays. At some point, Coach, I know that he's a guy that represents the U, but the U has to decide if he keeps going 3-5 in the ACC and 7-6 and not bringing back the U to national prominence, might be getting that moving truck down in South Florida and not going to be drinking so much Cuban coffee and getting that energy going. Just my opinion, Coach. He got a lot to prove.
I do think he has a lot to prove this season, but I think he made the most significant transaction of the offseason. He went and got Cam Ward. Cam Ward is a proven quarterback, a proven big game guy, a proven winner, and the reviews have been rave about him since he's been at the University of Miami on his locker room presence, on the way he wills his team to compete every single day. Great locker room guy, great teammate, may be the single most significant transfer to go to a team this year in Cam Ward. And I talked to Uncle Luke, my dog, and he said the Canes going undefeated like the old days. So we'll see. Shout out to Uncle Luke. I'm going to stay in
Big Luke off in there.
Hey, I'm going to stay in Smoke. Now, this is a team you put on there. I want that to be known. So when people ask for somebody to be drug tested, I want them to drug test you and not me. All right? Florida State is who we're going through right now, ranked 11. Florida State, AC, undefeated in the league, 13-1 record, but nobody wants to talk about the 13. They want to talk about the 1. They want to talk about the loss to Georgia in the bowl game, even though what did they have, Smoke? 35 opt-outs or guys that went to the NFL draft that did not play. We can't be counting the Georgia game against the Florida State Seminoles. They were loaded last year, had a great run. They feel like they were robbed and should have been in the college football playoffs. I think Florida State has great program momentum. Mike Norvell has recruited really well. He's majored in the transfer portal. DJU comes in to replace the quarterback from a year ago. They're going to be right in the mix again, Smoke. I just don't think that Florida State really belongs on this list.
Well, Carl, I'm going to make it short and sweet for you and make it real easy. I get the 13 wins and the 1 loss. I'm not worried about the 1 loss. They showed up to a bowl game and got ran up out the gym by a better team, coached better, that was motivated to play in the game. The reason why I put them on this list to prove it, because, Coach, they had a good reason to be in the national championship game last year or be in the contention of being in the Final Four. And they didn't. So this year's a prove it year. Revenge. They should come out of this saying, you know what, we're going to run the table again. We're going to go 13-0 and get into the national championship game. That's the reason why. He's not on the hot seat, but this team has more to prove than a lot because they should have been in the conversation to play for the national championship. And just by, hey, listen, they just got bammered, and it's okay. Coach, I'm going to get to this one for you. I'm going to stay in the same state, but I'm going to come up north a little bit and get to that panhandle. And I'm going to get to my man, Sunbelt Billy. You have a ton to prove on this one. 5-7 2 years in a row, 3-5 in the SEC, and I get it. But this is not the standard of Florida Gators football. Coach, you remember when Urban had them rolling with Percy, Tim Tebow, Brandon Spikes, players after player after player. Like, Coach, Florida is the gold standard in SEC at one point, right? But now you have players suing coaches, taking them to court, and not winning games. You have players. It's now time to either get to the point of competing in the SEC East, and we know that Georgia's running it, but you can't go back and be 5-7 3 years in a row and don't even go to the daggone Papa John's Bowl, man. You're not going bowling in Gainesville. Is reason for that moving truck to pull up to your house, knock on the door, hand you that pink slip, ask you for your key fob, and say, listen, I just need it back. Unacceptable, a lot to prove. And I get strength of schedule is tough and all that. No one wants to hear that. Win or go home. Simple as that. Sunbelt Billy, they'll send you right back if you don't get this thing going. Ton to prove, Coach.
I feel really bad for Billy Napier. I'm going to be honest with you, because we haven't gotten to see the real Billy Napier. He has been hurt by his collective, or the lack thereof, and by the new NIL movement. And they haven't adjusted to that well yet at Florida. You mentioned Urban Meyer, the Percy Harvin, the Steve Spurrier era with the freak Javon Curse and Warfel and Freddie T and all them guys. Man, them days behind the Florida Gators. If they don't do something to get the collective going in the right direction for Coach Napier, it's gonna be dark in Gainesville. So I think that Coach Napier is a hell of a coach. I just don't think that we've gotten to see the real Billy Napier.
Coach, I'm gonna leave it alone. We'll see who comes out on top of this.